How is it going today? Loyal Skin. My name's Dwayne.
My name's Jazz.
With Dwayne and Jazz, today we have Mr. Nightmare 3 creepy true attic horror stories, and we have a story of our own that we'll talk about at the end of the video. If you have any reaction requests, please follow us on all our social medias and link in the description below, and don't forget to subscribe.
I hope whenever we move into a new house,
bruh, I'm telling you,
there's nothing happening with our attic. I pray.
Oh boy.
It was an ordinary evening like any other. I was in my room watching TV while my mom was downstairs making dinner. I had my door shut as I usually did because I like my privacy. My room actually connected to the attic because technically my room was never meant to be a bedroom, but it was made into one since I was one of 4 kids.
Oh,
so oftentimes I would hear little cracks in the ceiling just because the attic was right above my room. And there were heavy boxes putting constant pressure on the ceiling, so I was a little used to it. But there was one crack that was just too loud. So loud that it actually made me jump. I almost wanted to pull the attic door down and go up there, but I gave it the benefit of the doubt and assumed it was just pressure. That and the fact that I was also scared to go up there. I was scared of that attic my entire childhood, and I hated having it connected to my room.
I would actually switch rooms.
I told my mom about the abnormally loud crack and expressed my fear to her. She told me there's nothing up there besides boxes, junk, and mice. She followed the mice part up with a smile to let me know she was kidding.
No, I mean, that's not a joke.
The rest of the night after dinner, I stayed in my room watching TV and playing video games. Even after everyone went to bed, I was still playing, deep into the night. I had the volume lower so that I wouldn't wake anyone up. We had paper-thin walls in that house.
That sucks.
I thought I heard another crack in the ceiling. Not as loud as the one from earlier, but still concerning enough to make me pause the game and listen. There was nothing now. I was having a bit of an adrenaline rush, so I grabbed the stepladder and pulled down the attic door. There was no light up there, you just had to use a flashlight to navigate. I didn't go in though, I just peeked my head in through the opening. There was nothing I could see except piles on top of piles of boxes. So it seemed like it really was just the weight of one of the boxes putting pressure in the ceiling. I planned on telling my mom that we should check it out the next day.
There's a person hiding up in there.
I was a bit relieved as I went back to playing video games. I turned the game off about an hour later and finally decided to go to sleep. After a while though, I started to hear something from above me. It wasn't the regular cracks I was used to hearing. These were more like
footsteps.
They were constant and moving.
Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah,
no.
You got 4 siblings, 2 mom and dad. Let's go! Let's go! Let's get it!
It really sounded like footsteps. The thump stopped right above the attic door, and there was silence.
Oh no!
I stared at that attic door so intently, waiting for something to happen. But when I saw the door slowly begin to lift, it didn't feel real. Even though I was expecting something to happen, I wasn't prepared for the door to actually open. I got out of bed as quietly as I could and tiptoed to my mom's room. When I explained, she nudged me to stay in her room as she left to get my brothers.
Let's jump
After a minute of waiting in silence, I heard a commotion from my room. It was my 2 older brothers yelling aggressively, and my mom screaming at them to come here. Apparently whoever was in the attic was gone though, because both of my brothers went up there and didn't find anyone. My mom also heard the noises in the attic, but didn't know what to think of it until I came and told her about the door opening. I didn't hear any noises anymore after that day, except for the usual occasional cracks in the ceiling.
So did they get them? What?
I'm thinking she said get the brothers. I'm thinking they about to go to war and they yelling aggressively. Like, get out! They punching them and stuff.
For a while,
I thought they jumped them.
I thought they jumped them too.
House in a town close to my job. It was only a temporary thing. I only planned on being there for a few months at most. The landlord was hard to get along with because he seemed off, so that didn't help things really.
He's a killer.
It was the first week of my being there. Since it was just me living in the house, I didn't need a lot of space to store things. The house did have an attic, but I never felt the need to go up there. I just stored mostly everything in either the garage, the spare rooms, or the closets. Not that there was much living space, though. One day, though, I did kind of want to see how much space was up there, so I tried to pull the attic door down, but it didn't budge.
It was locked.
Then I noticed there was a tiny lock on the attic door. I was never given a key by the landlord, so the next day I called him and asked about the lock. He told me the attic was off limits and was never included in the price of rents. I wasn't exactly sure if he could legally do that.
Right.
But I was paying a good price and I didn't want to mess it up.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think you could be like, oh yeah, the attic.
Next morning I went to my fridge to grab some milk and then the cereal from the cabinet. As I took the cap off the milk carton, I questioned if the amount of milk in the carton had gone down. Surely I hadn't
That's the
drank that
landlord
much.
living in an attic.
Had I?
Yep.
I guess I took a late night trip to the kitchen that I didn't remember. The next morning, as usual, I came to the kitchen to have breakfast. Everything seemed to be normal, but come lunchtime, it seemed like some of my cold cuts were missing.
Yep. That's
I
the
had to
landlord
start
up
to
in that
wonder
attic.
if I was going crazy or if something was actually going on here. Why did it seem like some of my food was disappearing every day? I actually started to look into buying a camera system for the house on the Best Buy website. I did some research on cameras before going to sleep. That night I woke up around 4 and really had to pee. I tried to hold it and just sleep it off, but the urge was too much. So I eventually got out of bed to head to the bathroom.
No, you mean that?
And
Gotta
on the way
hold
to the
it, like,
bathroom is the attic door in the
Forget it.
hallway.
Forget my bladder.
And at first I thought I was seeing things, but after rubbing my eyes, I could see that the attic door was really open. All that ran through my mind were the words, "What the fuck?" There was a pull-down ladder leading up to the attic. I had to see what was up there. I took a bright,
a whole
heavy-duty
living
flashlight from my
space.
room and went
Heavy
up there.
duty flashlight.
The flashlight was so bright, it lit up a huge chunk of the attic. It was a very big attic for the size of the house. I was surprised. But what surprised me even more was the twin bed tucked away in one corner of the attic with a clothing hamper next to it. There were also clothes scattered all over the attic.
Living up there. That's the landlord.
But perhaps most disturbing was the TV mounted on the wall that had my bedroom on display. I guess I hadn't noticed the light from the TV screen because I was holding the flashlight the whole time.
So
But I knew I had
they
to get out of
spying
the
on
house.
him.
But someone was at the entrance of the attic now, by the attic door. First only their head was visible, but their bodies slowly emerged into the attic until they were crawling towards me. I was able to distinguish the face to be that of the landlord. His expression was so dry and
Crack the
motionless,
case. Look.
it still haunts me to
See?
this day. As he crawled over to me, his eyes opened wide, he kept putting one finger to his lips as he said, "Shh." He didn't speak any words. He only went, "Shh."
Yeah, see that?
Shh, what?
It was a miracle that I was able to get around him in time before he could get to me. I went down the ladder and pushed it up, closing the attic door. I knew he would be out shortly, so I took my phone from the nightstand and ran for it. I ran outside and called the police. The landlord wasn't there when the police arrived, but I had all of his information, and he was found the next
They
day
got
at his
him.
brother's house in a nearby rundown town. I moved to an apartment 2 days later.
Exactly.
And when I plan on buying a house, I know now I'm going to avoid any houses with attics.
See that? You see that? What I say? I said it's the
Yeah.
landlord. Because he's saying, oh, you can't go up there. Why does it have a lock on it?
Right. He was in the attic saying, "You can't go over there."
When I was
That's
little,
my- that's where I live.
Right.
played hide and seek when we were home alone because it made us feel like we had full access to the house and any room could be a hiding place. We always did one seeker, 2 hiders. The first person to get caught loses the round, or if the seeker didn't find either hider in 5 minutes, they lost the round.
That's a
and
short
the first to
amount of
3
time.
points won. I lost the first round. I still remember that somehow. We were on the second round.
Remember them L's.
I was hiding again.
Right.
My sister was seeking. My brother and I dispersed from the living room, which was considered the starting room, and I knew the perfect place to hide. Somewhere none of us ever hid before.
The attic.
The attic. It was just a place none of us ever thought as a hiding spot. Maybe I
Nobody
could
wants to
start
go up
using it as
there.
my usual hiding spot, I thought to myself. It was a step-in attic attached to a big closet, so there was no ladder or anything. I shut the attic door behind
We
me
saw
and
that
tried my
before.
best to navigate the attic in the dark. I got about halfway across when I found a box and a big black bag that seemed to be perfect to hide behind.
There's a body in it.
Now I wait, I thought in my head.
Let's see if I go too.
For some reason, the act of sitting in a dark place doing nothing never got boring when you tagged it under the activity of hide and seek. I felt a rush the entire time, anxious that I'd hear the attic door open and my sister rushing inside. I was kind of subconsciously counting the minutes, even though I wasn't actually counting second for second. It was too dark to check my timer. I figured 4 minutes had passed, so it was almost time to go back downstairs. But just then, there was the sound of a big bag being crumpled. Wait, I thought, did I not notice one of them sneak in here? Maybe it was my brother.
Oh.
But then again, maybe it was my sister. In fear of it being my sister, I didn't want to call anything out. If I just waited out the timer, I'd be good. And sure enough, a few seconds later, the pocket timer started beeping, signaling the 5 minutes was up. So I safely called out, "We win." But whoever was crumpling the bag didn't reply. They did, however, stop crumpling the bag to create an uncomfortable silence. One of them were messing with me, I knew it. I went back to the attic door and turned on the light. As the light came on, I briefly saw the top of someone's head ducked behind a wall of boxes to my left. It was short hair, it had to be my brother, so I called his name in a mocking kind of tone as I walked over to the wall of boxes. I was preparing to jump over it and scare him, but I wasn't the one doing the scaring in the end. On my way over to the boxes, someone stood up from behind the boxes. Not my brother, but a full-grown man, rather.
Oh, God.
Oh, hell.
He had his finger on his lips and said, "Don't freak out. That's exactly what I did." I shrieked like a
What you
little
mean, don't
girl
freak
and left
out?
the
You in
attic
my
a hurry.
house.
I think he followed me to the door and stopped because he didn't chase me down the stairs. My brother and sister were already in the living room. I told them to run outside because there's someone in the attic. I guess they believed me because they hurried behind. All we could do was run to our neighbor's house, who called the police and then our parents for us. I know it's a cliche ending, but the cops did show up and the intruder was gone, which unfortunately meant I could never actually prove to my family or anyone that there was someone in the attic that day. But I can assure you, it's true and it did happen.
I don't think that like if I was the parent, right? And they say like there's a man in the attic but there's nobody there. Like, why would all three of my children run to another person's house and wait for the police and everything because they don't feel safe there? Right. That won't be a joke. I feel like I would believe them. Like, you're not gonna go to somebody else's house just to go, just to hang out.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
no, you're not gonna do that.
Okay, so tell our story. Here we go.
What, with here?
Yeah, get the photo too.
Oh yeah, okay. So like yesterday, it was like maybe 1 or 2, and by around that time, that's when we wake up. So excuse us, but we wake up around that time. But like we are both asleep in our bedroom, and then all of a sudden I heard this loud like boom, and I was like, what is that? And I thought that it was like the neighbors underneath us because they're kind of loud, or the neighbors behind us, and I didn't know what it was, and Dwayne was dead asleep. And my initial reaction whenever I hear loud sounds is just for me to go check it out. Well, first I get a knife, then I check it out because I try to arm myself. So like I came out the bedroom door, Dwayne was fully asleep when this happened, and I was looking around trying to see what happened. I looked at the front door to make sure it was locked. It was. I didn't see anyone anywhere. And then I look and I continue looking around, and before I got my knife, I saw in the bathroom that this was on the ground, and this is a painting that we had in our bathroom. As you can see, some of the glass is broken and everything, and it was like it had the little guard strips on the back. I wish I could show you, like right there, the little white stuff. There's like the little guard strips. It's like kind of like Velcro.
Yeah.
And the way that it fell off, like the 4 remaining parts was still on the wall, but this was like smack down, face down on the ground with like all the glass shattered underneath it in one spot. But the thing that scared me was because of the position and where it fell at. So say the wall is right here, right? So if it fell straight down, there's like a little towel guardrail, and it would have fell in between that and then be like right underneath it. That didn't happen. And if it like fell and it was leaning, it would have fell kind of close to that guardrail, but it didn't do that either. It was like the wall was here, painting over there. It was like, oh, it was like far away. it's not a big bathroom. It is just like, it was too far for it to go from point A to point B without any interaction of something else. So I thought that it was a ghost. I sent the pictures to my mom. She said that it's paranormal activity and we need to get out. So
yeah, we're looking for a house now. But we do have an attic. We have an attic. It's in our closet and it's right there.
Yeah.
It's like right up there. I want to go up there.
I want to go up there, but I'm scared to go up there.
I think there's a lock up there though.
I think so. I think there's a lock because there's another level that you can go up, but I think nobody lives up there.
I don't know.
Think nobody.
I really want to check it out there. You guys comment below. Tell us what you want us to do. You want to have a video of us exploring our creepy attic if we could get in there?
If we can get in.
Yeah, if we can get in. I don't know if we can. Yeah, I'm very worried about that when she told me that. Yeah. Our neighbors have been like, our neighbors below us have been like
slamming doors
or something, slamming something hard, throwing stuff around.
And this apartment complex that we live in has very, very good insulation and noise barrier. So it's like the fact that we could still feel your vibrations and you slam your door in the living room when there's no doors around. You slamming pretty hard.
Yeah, I don't know what y'all doing.
I don't know what they doing.
Anyway, guys, please comment below.
Don't forget to like and share. Deuces.